My name is Sam Liebl. I'm a poet and author. I hope it's all right, but I like to introduce everyone on the chat. Rick, and if you guys don't like this, let me know. Official biographer for Colt Ostergaard, Space Cowboy. I like writing stories where the good guy wins, but sometimes the win comes with a cost. I've sold a few short stories to Raconteur Press. Very cool. I like Raconteur Press. And I'm schlepping a novel or two in various places. Gareth, no bio, but very welcome to join. Janet enjoys following the YouTube philosophers and enjoying David's poetry. Well, you'll get to hear some more. I appreciate that. Let me grab them and we can go ahead and get started. I believe poetry, like all art, is for everyone, but and can be anything that people want it to be. But I think that poetry is best consumed read aloud. And Substack Live provides a very cool and dynamic way to do live readings of things. So bear with me as I get up. I was just getting set up. Bear with me, and I'll open one that my English professor uncle said was very accomplished. Although, a trigger warning is that it has to do with atheism. I'm a lyrical poet and pretty formal. And feel free if you guys would like to comment during them. I will try to address all of the comments as they come in. I do not, while reading, I do not do any kind of I don't address the comments. But I will do my best to address any comments that pop up, positive or negative. So again, my name is Sam Liebl. I'm the author of a book that is published here on Substack called AFL the Bastard. It's a fantasy novel written in a kind of poetic language. And I'm also a poet. That's kind of where I started out in writing. And I've been writing poetry for many years. If you like the live, hit that heart down at the bottom. Should be down here. Perhaps it's over there. Or share it out. That would be much appreciated. Anyone who has poetry is welcome to join as well. So my English professor uncle said that this is very accomplished in its execution and focus. It's called I Looked for God. I looked for God and did not find it, no holy nor unholy ghost, no spirits caulking apertures, no angels in the architecture. I paced along each of the hallways, winding always through my home, knocking softly on the windows, rapped. I begged for quiet echoes. Signs this wall was but a mask, and the face it hid was hollow. Search the place once more tomorrow. An empty space might indicate some room for magic or design, besides that practiced by mankind. To focus, while I made the raps, I closed my eyes and parsed the taps, devoted, beholden to my task, but did not sleep lest I should miss the sound of something calling back. In time I learned I was alone. I prayed to the silence of the stone, but always nothing answered no. For years I tried and tried again. Those walls' response was flat and thin. I heard no sound nor any talk, just drywall over cinder block. And that was called I Looked for God. Recent poems and things like that. This one is called My Funeral. It's a longer poem. I like to write longer poetry. I feel that it's kind of got some humorous elements, but and let me know if you guys, in between the reading of each poem, I will pause for comments and anything that you guys want to say or commentary on them. But I'd love that. Marion Beeman, welcome in. My name is Sam Liebl. I'm an author and poet. I publish right here on Substack, and you're very welcome. This is going to be a poetry reading. I've already read one poem called I Looked for God. I encourage everyone to share this out. So this one is called My Funeral. It's a longer poem. Any comments and not concerns, but any comments and negative or positive are welcome. If you like something, feel free to hit that heart button. If you really like something, subscribe. My primary publication, it looks like at this point, is Away with Words, which is my poetry publication. So, but I'd love it. I have other ones. And so, because this one was poetry focused, if you click on my name up at the top here, you can pick me up, follow me, or subscribe. It's free. This one's called My Funeral. It's part of a 5-part cycle or series that has to do with death and afterlife and things like that. So, My Funeral. The program should be on decent paper. Do not spend much on printing still. Get something eggshell, ivory, or beige. Something not so stark as white, more champagne. It should be on a single sheet divided, precisely folded on the longer side. The page's contents aren't of much substance. My birth, the date and place, and when I died. With no embossed or gilded lettering, just flat dark gray for mourning. Don't go crazy with songs, poems, speeches, please. Love of God. No acoustic guitars. Let's keep this thing short, a tight 25. I'll not take up your precious Sunday rest. I'm not sure anyone will even come. If they are still alive, my parents will. My brother and his family would be. I'm not sure why I am always imagining my brother with a son. My cousins' families move along, my other living aunts and uncles. It's possible I am married. Maybe she will come. After a threadbare biographical précis, anyone who wants to can say their piece, provided it's actually reasonably succinct. Tell them they should say whatever they want, but all must tell the whole of the truth. Welcome in, Zena. Then, whomever is leading this thing, church pastor, volunteer, or priest, please thank everyone for coming and wish each of them well on each of their paths. In the event I am to be interred along the coffin following beside me, don't bother with a march of pallbearers. Avoid reading or speaking at my grave. All should come later on their own and say those ideas they want me to hear that day. Right now, aloud, with everyone around, just let them dump me in the ground, splash cold dirt and grime across me in a lonely tract of earth somewhere over hills of silty earth. You don't need a reception, one location is enough. Either don't have one at all, or have it at the church where the funeral was. Or, if the plan is I be cremated, you can get an urn, but I'll be incinerated by a riot of heat and fire, coming to rest in cinder and ash. If you want the charcoal that remains as arid scoria, use the cardboard box included with the funeral home's base pricing package. I'd get rid of me if I were you. On a weekday, squeeze in as an errand, finding a place with picturesque potential, a cliff where the wind will carry me away. But if you let my center catch the air, you're allowed an impromptu road trip. If you but let my center catch the air. You're allowed an impromptu road trip, taken to the closest national park, hurrying to dump me. But because you found out spreading ashes needs a permit in Congregate. That's a national park. Wipe my residue off your clothes as you leave. Now it's over. It took no longer than I wanted, but compared to other ceremonies, it was a paragon of brevity. Everyone just go, climb into your cars, and drive them on to your remaining time. My uncle is an English professor, or was an English professor. This is his commentary on that poem. Send hearts if you liked it. Make comments if you didn't. Commentary on My Funeral. I'm drawn to the speaker for his conversational approach, his wry frankness that opens potential wounds in himself. Celia, Mom, welcome in. This is Jerry Wayne's commentary on the poem that I just read called My Funeral. I'm drawn to the speaker for his conversational approach, his wry frankness that opens potential wounds in himself. He's unrelenting in his self-deprecation, implying that the closest people in his life, or more likely, might not care when he's ceased to exist. The apologia, with thorns, is an interesting tension with the poem's imperative voice. Do these things, do them this way. Every verb evokes and implies a you who should be following orders. That is an imperious stance. That imperious stance is in tension with the overall put down of the ego, and that's the source of ambiguity. I'm a great admirer of ambiguity. Your last two lines end well what might have been difficult to end gracefully. Both a kind of kiss off to all the yous addressed by the speaker, just go, and a kind of warm benediction, drive them on to your own remaining time. This is a speaker we enjoy spending time with, despite the astringency of his humor, which I think is very fun. But that was part of my funeral, which is a cycle of 5 poems that have to do with death and afterlife. So, trigger warning for anyone, I am in a good place mentally, but I struggle with ideas of, I think like everyone does with death and afterlife, and I express that in poetry. So that was my funeral. Previously, we've looked at I Looked for God, which is a poem that my uncle called, This is very accomplished in its execution and focus, and I'm proud of that. This one's called The Killing Forces. It's kind of a tightly interwoven with I Looked for God. And this is part of a third collection of poetry that I put together called Someone. I'm hoping to publish it, as many friends of mine have, on Amazon soon. This one's called The Killing Forces. I can hear whispers in the mortar, binding bricks to one another. In the walls I sealed together, laboring with careful trowel to split them from me forever. The clamor of the killing forces, intermingling their eerie voices, actuating smoke or pale vibration, they remind me I am forsaken. Though broken by their oral throng, sometimes I miss them when they're gone, for they have been, and they alone, acquainted with me all along. The first career I ever wanted, what I affixed my target on, I'd be an angelic, divine agent, anointed, assured godly favor, bringing war to tenebrous anger, that would twist a blue aurora into a wan light crepuscular. I'd make it stop and then wend it toward the day and back again. I had this idea when I was a kid that I wanted to be like an archangel. I thought Michael, Gabriel, Azariel, and Uriel, I believe, are the 4 archangels from Christian mythology. But that's what the last stanza is about. And these aren't published. I think The Killing Forces and I Looked for God are published on Substack. So follow me, subscribe to me if you like those. Here's a positive one. Again, this is part of the cycle of poems called, My Death and Afterlife. But this is called Going to Heaven. So, Mom, I'm glad that you joined for this one because it's a longer poem, but it's also nice and positive. My mom worries about me like all moms do. Perhaps it is I ascend to heaven, rising until the clouds over Galilee obscure my rapture above, away, and free. Though I'm loath to interrupt my own poems or anyone's poems if they're during a reading, I wanted to say that is a direct allusion to the, or not allusion, but a direct kind of call out to the book of the Acts of the Apostles in the Bible, where they meet up with Jesus, and Jesus kind of just says, do my works on earth, and then floats up literally into the sky until the clouds occlude him. So perhaps it is that I ascend to heaven, rising until the clouds over Galilee obscure my rapture above, away, and free. Then to be seen by God, his angels ready, garrisoned along the brilliant ramparts. All stay still as they do in dreams. Some outer gate closer to me parts, awash over vast, icy wilderness, beneath the chapel painted in the dawn, towering crystal castles splay, the clouds, the air, and beyond. A city of us among seraphim, that's a type of angel. Perhaps they are what we become, and they are what we have been. Brazen chains heave the portcullis, the jangling endless iron ringlets, directionless relegati and inset linked, a ladder that ought not be descending. I never thought it would rise for me. I am not sure. how I've attained it. I certainly did not pursue it. God's envoys breathlessly encircle me. Eyes reach my soul and unmistakably die with blue notes the overtones of what was a salutary crescendo. Lyrics abound, timbre infinite, echo, resounding and reverberating, awash, in pealing sound unabating. I'll read that again because I kind of stumbled over the last line. God's envoys breathlessly encircle me. Eyes reach my soul and unmistakably die with blue notes the overtones of what was a salutary crescendo. Lyrics abound, timbre infinite, echo, resounding and reverberating, awash in pealing sound, unabating. They are impatient at all the life it's taken me to finally reach these angels' wailing, haunting scream. They have been watching, and they have waited. They sing in otherworldly ecstasy until all my hearing is thus occupied, my sight impaled by blinding light, so I have no more use for my eyes. There is no body, just me. I am affixed from forever until never. I am this. Past the gate transparently, strafing amid these cirrus streaks, traversing skylight mirrors, wending green in the glowing turquoise atmosphere, up overlapping webs of beams, clambering skyward in eager grace, ensouled hands all find their place. Each follows his leader up the rungs, rising to the stars that the spirit hung, lifted by glittering rush of air unto the sun or toward a being much more so dazzlingly brilliant than he. Oh, Janet, thank you for the commentary. We just ended, so I'm going to read out the comment. You have found God that we know. God is with you and loves you too, loves you as I do. Think about living life with God as I do, and we may meet and praise God together and love life which He has given us. Don't worry about funerals. They are for people, not for us. We live on forever with those that we love and who love us. I agree on the latter part. The funerals are for the living, obviously. They honor the dead. Um, I still don't think, I think that I believe in a higher power of some kind. But I mean, to me, that could just as easily be like gravity. I just don't know that I would define it as God. This poem is about telephones. It's done in the style of my favorite poet, whose name is Hart Crane. But thank you for the comment. I really appreciate that. I love comments. I love engagement, although I don't really look at the comments while reading each poem. And again, my poems are not quite what Substack is used to. I write longer lyrical poems. I feel like poems should do the work for the reader as much as possible. And doing the work for the reader in poetry is making them as clear as possible, to me, making them as clear as possible while still kind of weaving the lyrical energy in there and really trying to make the language beautiful. This one is about telephones and the interworking telecommunications grid throughout the world. It's called Strands of Light and Passage. Again, if you like this poem, please check out Hart Crane. He was a poet that is identified with modern romanticism. And he wrote about things like the Brooklyn Bridge, right? Adrian Faris, welcome in. I'm about to read a poem about the telephone and telecommunications grid called Strands of Light and Passage. Suspended over landscape greens and streets on pillars raised and columns all arrayed, above the roads, rivers, and gazing plains are held aloft the wires, pathways, and veins. Through towns and over lakes, you can see them strung in a web woven into lace a few feet higher than our sight line. They innervate the tissue of the earth and pass along them amber sparks that race, crepitating along braided fiber, twangling the wires I mentioned prior, attired in flesh, sealed and safe, crystal plates, within the siege of nature buffeting them, and would surely cast them far off their course. A couple notes on that stanza, I will note. That's about like fiber optics, right? Fiber optics are things usually hopefully buried in the ground that are, encased gelatin light almost, and they send signals at the speed of light. across the country and across the world. There's actually a very long optic fiber network, an actual wire that's, I mean, not a wire, but like a, you know, thing that is buried under the Atlantic, the North Atlantic, that connects Europe, Western Europe, to the United States, or North America, I should say. Strands of light and passage, but a few notes. Crepitating is a word not many people know. It has to do with a crackling, thunderous kind of sound. And plates is not a plate. It's more plait, like the way that hair is woven into plates. And would surely cast them far off their course. All the world they break into 1,000,000 pixels, light to be refracted, trade to be conveyed. Yes, indeed. That's the theory. That's the point of this poem. It's a positive poem. It's a hopeful poem. All the world they break into 1,000,000 pixels, light to be refracted, trade to be conveyed. They also carry all of our trade. The money that, the finances and the resources that support our lives. In single file and yet as one they dance, along the currents of the capillaries, the strands of light and passage, fluorescent beams clashing always above, stranger to their goal and course, they disassemble our desires, manhandle our wants and our attentions. Unseen they must have been, and in all details attentive. With care once reassembled, sparks rearrange these feelings into parts and pack them by section within parcels, writing upon each one in careful hand the address of final destination. This poem's kind of complex, so I will include more commentary than I usually do. So strands arrange these feelings into parts. This has to do with packets. Thank you, Janet. This has to do with packets in the internet. So when you upload a file to the internet or receive one, it's in the form of packets, which are tiny bits and pieces of images, videos. This Substack Live to you is conveyed via fiber optics, copper wire, what have you, via packets. IP protocol is called, the internet protocol. And that has to do with packets. And pack them by section within parcels, right, into packets, writing upon each one in careful hand the address of final destination. Each individual packet that the video is broken into has an IP address associated with it. Your IP address is your internet protocol address, and that is kind of your address on the internet. To us, they bring back visions, symphonies, literature, all civilization, though most of all they bring us others. They carry to our trembling hands letters, messages we long dreaded receiving. They dive in flight under the half-done light. We see and hear our love complete that light, almost embracing those whom we hold dear, milling stone to dust, burning glass from sand. The strands author it upon cresting wave, igniting peals of tears that fell for years by heartbreak, injury into vapor. By wonder carried, borne on westward wind, their silent embers slowly lose their heat. They rest before their quiet, task complete, surrendering to merely be and gleam. And my English professor uncle said, nope, on that last stanza. I disagree with him. I think that that's a nice ending. Born on Westward Wind refers to the American idea of the frontier, and DARPANET, and the things that form the foundation of the internet, which was developed and conceived in the United States, was, a westward thing, right? Born out of places like MIT on the East Coast and completed by California. So that was called Strands of Light and Pass. Also published on Substack, free to access if you enjoyed it. This one is a short one. I think we'll break it up with a kind of shorter one. Writing is in the darkness of my apartment, just 2 stanzas. This just refers to the fact that my apartment is super dark and I write in it. For real, like that's all it is. And I don't think my uncle got it. He's been my only editor, but it's really just about me writing and it's dark in my apartment. But poetry, right, takes the mundane the quotidian, the everyday, and turns it into beauty of words, hopefully, or powerful, impactful words at least. So it's always a fun challenge to take something like getting like, my apartment is so dark, and being like, how can I turn, writing. And poems for me usually start with the first line. As Sir Thomas Wyatt, one of my favorite poets, who wrote They Flee From Me, um, said, if you have the first line, you have it entire. Meaning, if you got that first line that catches people's attention and intrigues people, you're halfway there. So this is called Writing is in the Darkness of My Apartment. Writing in the darkness of my apartment, my writing takes that dark to heart. As the sun sets and it's hard to see, my work clearly in the murk complete. Writing done in the gloom and darkness becomes itself as dark as my apartment, finished and dead before it started, falling short by half-lits and quarter-hearted. Quarter-hearted I'm proud of because it takes half-hearted and makes it even smaller. Half-hearted becomes quarter-hearted. And I was looking for that rhyme with started. IT can reach everyone, says Janet, and help everyone to love one another and have a better life. It can be. As bad and evil as technology can be, right? It can be something that is hopeful. This one is a very heartfelt poem about someone that I miss very, very much. I like to write. Yes, it helps us learn and create beautiful things. The internet, if you're old enough to remember this, it's started out as a place of free expression, kind of like Substack. Substack reminds me a lot of the early internet and Reddit, but this one's called It Wouldn't Do. I miss this person very much, and mostly I do like romantic poetry, so this is an exemplar of that. It may be exemplary. Bill Cusano, nonprofit author, welcome in. I did reach out to Mary Ellen, and we're looking at doing a live in the near future, talking about whatever it is. But I'm a poet primarily. I do write a fantasy book, but I'm a poet primarily. Not a proet, because I guess that would be a professional poet. But this one has a lot of double negatives in it that are kind of fun. And we just have two more poems, but the last one is pretty long. So this one's called It Wouldn't Do. It wouldn't do to take my eyes off of you, to pretend for 1 second that you weren't always on my mind. I think about you all the time. I could not act as if your lips strayed from our kiss left me unbereft of emptiness. You are hardly forgotten, nor will you be unmissed. It would be a lie, an affront to try, a ruse miscarried and so belie that in your absence I am not fine, that I am not happy, but resigned. I could not affect, with an A, hiding a heart unchecked, strength in the shade of your neglect. Your going has weight to it, and heft. It is tissue and breathing flesh. I am removed of the rest of you, gone but for darkness. It has dimension, place, and depth. Your lack is all remaining of you, a presence only in my head. I like this one a lot. My uncle says, the English professor says that I should remove the last stanza, but I like that. And that last stanza is, I am removed of the rest of you, gone but for darkness. So trying to do that double negative thing, I am removed of the rest of you. So the emotion of this person, I am removed of the rest of you, gone but for darkness. Only darkness remains. It has dimension, place, and depth, despite the fact that darkness has no mass. It feels like that for me. Your lack is all remaining of you, a presence only in my head. Yep. Shout out to the subject of that poem. I hope they're doing well. This is the last poem that I'll read here today. These are from a newer collection. Thanks, says Bill. Janet says, you're very creative in writing such beautiful poems, and maybe you have even more talents to learn about to teach us. I like to think so. So this one's called, it's a little bit sad. It's called Back When I Was Happy. Morning, and it's not, I didn't write this like very recently. It was written in the last 2 years or so when I was in a really low place. So, trigger warning, it does get a little bit depressing. But one of the things that I like about writing and writing poetry in particular is it kind of allows you to capture a lot of the bad things that you think. And once, at least for me, once they are thus captured, once they are kind of encapsulated in words and sent out for people to read, they become more easy to deal with. So back when I was happy, mornings have always been my favorite part of the day. Now in 2022, I exulted in them. Finally, I was, in timely order, writing my life again, developing the many skills I imagined I would need for it. I've always affixed my target north. My course was now fatidic. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Bill. I paused to address the word fatidic, Fatidic. Fatidic means just having to do with fate. I like words a lot, and I always look up ones that I read, um, like Diane Court in Say Anything. Shout out to a great 80s movie. Next stanza. 2 calamitous years ago, back when I was happy, in late fall through midwinter, I would awaken, rising every morning at 5 a.m. in dark and desolation, when it was cold enough outside that my breath would mist itself, wrapped by air in silver shells. All that means is, my breath was misted. Eating breakfast piecemeal, medications, vitamins, and supplements, all while smoking cigarettes. Surrounded by morning all around, I smoked in the adjacent day, watching windows one by one fill with yellow light their empty gray, until my car was heated up, the ice cleared off the glass. I always hated scraping that myself. Thank you, Janet. My life had always been aimed at this place. I was thrilled to be alive, killed to find the right, and now had arrived. I was even starting to look forward to it. I was about to work out, like go to the gym. I was even starting to look forward to it. I was about to work out. I had been moving faster, preparing to strain myself, clambering the stairmaster, not minding pain, not self-defeating. Finally, I claimed a step of control over my life, my body, and my eating. My professor, uncle, again, he's retired, so who knows? But he says this seems unfinished. I'd agree. I'm inclined to agree. But I thought it was funny using a stairmaster in a poem. Seemed more grounded. I've never read a poem that has a piece of exercise equipment in it. Maybe that's for a reason. But anyway, so we read Back When I Was Happy. We read It Wouldn't Do. We read Writing is in the Darkness of My Apartment. We read a poem called Strands of Light and Passage. We read Going to Heaven. We read I Looked for God, a poem about searching for a higher power. We read The Killing Forces, which has to do with kind of intrusive and negative thoughts. And then we read My Funeral, which is kind of a WRY poem about just dealing with death, thinking about your funeral. It sort of was a kind of lyrical version of um, the instructions for a funeral. Anyway, I'm thinking about ending the live here. Thank you so much for participating, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed some of the poems, and a reminder that they're all available for free on my Substack. Be happy, don't worry, says Janet. Live for the moment. I am inclined to agree. If you guys, feel free to pick each other up. That means follow and subscribe to the other people in the chat. If you liked my poems, they're for free. You can subscribe to A Way with Words. Thank you, Mom. I appreciate you joining. We've had 16 people come and go throughout the live. Some of you guys are still on here. Thank you so much. And by the way, if any of you guys are poets and have something to read, I am kind of getting a little bit, lives are hard work. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to be doing more structured lives, like poetry readings, instead of just getting on here and kind of goofing around, which is what I used to do. The TikTok lives are for goofing around. and I already did one this morning. And if you've never done a live, it may not seem like it, but they're kind of tiring because I feel like I want to entertain people and have something structured. God bless. All right. Heart hands to everyone. Um, and maybe next time I'll read some different ones and invite some other poets that I respect. Bathrobe guy, I'm sorry you're coming in just at the end of the live. But thank you. It's always good to see you. I love the robe emoji. But we've been on for about 40 minutes and I am going to tie off the live. This isn't the first live that I've done today. But bathrobe guy holds me down every live. That's the half hand part. But yeah, I'm sorry. Do you have any poetry that you'd like to read? Are you a poet by any amateurs? Welcome. I'm an amateur. I do have some ciao bello hard hands. But thank you. Bathrobe Guy is peace and meta. Bathrobe Guy has been a stalwart supporter of me on the lives. You do? Well, the offer is on the table. I can add you to this live and you can read them. Do you have any at hand? This is not the first poetry reading that I plan to do. Maybe we can coordinate for a later date too. But I don't mean to put you on the spot. You don't have to turn your camera on if you don't want to. But I thought we would take a break from some of the craziness of yesterday and today. You know, today is September the 11th. I'm an American, and that's a date of importance for me. But yesterday was crazy. And today, September the 11th, is, the anniversary of a heinous event that I remember watching on TV. And I wanted to maybe take a break and come here and read you some of the poems that I'm most proud of that I've published. And I hope that you like them. I'm working on compiling a first collection of poetry, which is called Young, and publishing it. Now, people weren't earning money from poetry, even when people actually read poetry. But at the same time, um, it'll be good to publish it and get more. Send me an invite? Sure. Okay. You're on. All right. Invite inbound. Oh, and if you meant invite as in for a later date, don't feel any pressure. You don't have to turn your camera on, but I'd love to hear some work by you. Hey, bathrobe guy, can you hear me and see me? There you go.
Are we here? All right, I gotta
Yes, I
mute
can
you.
hear
Hold on.
you.
There we go. I had to mute my computer for it'll echo. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I got through all of my poems, but I love to celebrate other poems and do readings and everything. Would love to have you read some work
Sure,
that
man.
you've done.
All right, let me pop over here
And take your
yeah,
time.
I like write tons of poetry. Actually, I started out writing poetry because I play guitar, so
Mm,
like
lyrics.
poetry is a big thing.
Yolanda, welcome in. I'm just kind of
Let's see.
engaging with the chat, and whenever you're
What do I
ready, you
want to
just let
read?
me know.
Uh, let's go with.
So, guys, we're about to hear some of the poetry from the bathrobe guy who's been a stalwart supporter of me on my lives. And thank you, sir.
No problem, man. I like it. I like it. I always enjoy it. You're like calm. You're not
There's
yelling at
something,
everybody.
even though I'm an introvert, there's some kind of like performer in me a little bit. And that,
Right.
so
Right.
I'm an introvert like most writers are, but at the same time, I kind of
Yeah.
like to perform a little bit. So the floor is
Yeah,
yours.
I hear you. All right. All right. This is called Lonely. The feed is live. There's people there. Algorithmic lights with a vacant stare. Lonely. Mouths moving, yet unheard. Frantic fingers form each word. Lonely. Carving connection. This room's where it's at. It's okay, just one more chat. Lonely. Digital companions to fill the void. A simple reflection, lives destroyed, lonely. Faster, produce, walk the line. Success will fix it. Everything's fine, lonely. Share yourself, even in pain. For without true connection, we will remain lonely.
I really
Thank you.
enjoyed that.
Thank-
To me, it speaks about
Thanks, man.
the kind of the isolation of the internet, of the internet
Yeah,
culture. But I don't know what you're do you want to speak to that poem at
yeah,
all?
totally. Yeah, that's totally it. Like that chasing the. I mean, it's not to say that we can't form friendships or that some the connections we form on here at times are not real and close. But sometimes I think people get lost and forget their offline life, and and that can be dangerous and it isolates us. And yeah, so it speaks to that loneliness. Yeah.
So you weren't on for this, but I did read a poem that I have called Strands of Light and Passage. It's a longer poem, so I won't read it again, but some of it's a positive poem about technology and some of the things that
Mm.
some of the stanzas that I remember. I'll read just the first stanza. Suspended over landscape, greens and streets, on pillars raised and columns all arrayed, above the roads, rivers, and gazing plains are held aloft the wires, pathways, and veins. Through towns and over
Mm.
lakes, you can see them, strung in a web, woven into lace, a few feet higher than our sight line. They innervate the tissue of the earth and pass along them amber sparks that race, crepitating along braided fiber, twangling the wires I mentioned prior. Attired in flesh, sealed and safe, crystal plates withstand the siege of nature, buffeting them and surely would cast them far off their course. All that is like about like the telephone infrastructure that powers what we're doing right now, sharing art into things like that. So my favorite poet is Hart Crane, the modern romanticist, who would write poems about
Mhm.
Brooklyn Bridge, but in beautiful lyrical language. Do you have anything else that you want to share?
I do. I'll share another one here. This is
And so,
called
guys, we've got the
Reality.
bathrobe guy sharing his poems. If you like his poems, pick him up, subscribe, like, and I appreciate the hearts. Thank you.
Yeah, the hearts are awesome.
Wendy
Reality.
Parker, welcome in. It's good to see you. Real
Hey,
quick,
Wendy.
no, I just wanted to say hello. I try to engage with the chat, but during the poem, we do not engage with the chat. So go ahead, bathrobe guy.
All right. Insanity. Reality. It's all just the memories of the perceptions we were taught to keep. Is it the same when you go to sleep? Do you find yourself looking through the looking glass at your future and your past? For goodness sake, is your life just the decisions you chose to make? We walk about, we run about, always striving for something more, like a lion on the prowl for some game to score. You base your happiness on the more you have, not the less. Then you wonder why your happiness turns to sadness when all you had turns to ashes and your life becomes madness. Do you hear my words? Are we on the same station? Or is all of this just my own mental masturbation?
I love the ending. I like the provocative use. I love using provocative words, and masturbation, I think, is not a loaded term, but
Yeah,
But no, I don't want
for
to
sure.
fixate on masturbate. Go. What can you share with us about that poem? Welcome in Brian and welcome in Wendy.
Just, the complexity of life, how we see things, how our perceptions change how we see things personally, the striving for being, to have more, never realizing that the more we have, the more we worry.
Yeah.
So, mm,
I think some of the best. I don't know if this qualifies as poetry because music is something that is a kind of different category to me. But
mm,
hey, welcome NJR. Right? We're doing a poetry reading. And Wendy, because you're a Substack bestseller, if I may, bathrobe guy, while you read the next one, I'm going to
yeah,
read
yeah.
the poem that I am most proud of. And I would love for you to hear it, Wendy, just because you seem like if you're hearing a poetry reading and you have a good following around poetry, I would love to know what you hear about, what you think about it. But Bathrobe Guy, maybe introduce another poem, and I'll just sort of
Well,
like ramble on, but not ramble on, but I'll go pick up this poem because I don't have it on me.
I had one right here. I wanted to. No, I can't find it. Oh, here it is. Jeez, can't find my own word.
Take
All
your
right, this is
time.
called.
I'll be the lightning rod for all of the negative commentary on the
Right.
lives. That's all good. Hey,
Uh-oh,
John
I gotta
Robinson,
find it.
welcome in. We're
Okay,
doing
so this
poetry
is called
readings.
contention. Contention. Shall we shout, call them names, perpetuate hate, and play their games? Contention. Shall we arm ourselves, armed to the teeth, teach them a lesson, avenge them for grief? Contention. Shall we shake our fists, scream out in rage, close the door, turn the red page? Contention. Shall we destroy them, eat, erase them in pain? Shall we make rivers of blood? Can we bear the shame? Contention. Shall we cast them out, strike them with fear, with death correct them, never shedding a tear? Contention. Shall we meet them with love, open the door, show them peace, let love shape our rapport? Contention. Shall we hold to truth, show them the way? Shall we be the change, doing as we say? Contention. Shall we bring grace, unconditional love, see all as the same, none below or above? Contention. Shall we unite, move beyond pain, nurture and grow, or let oceans of blood remain? Contention.
Beautiful. I love how you repeat words. And I don't just say, I'm not just saying about this one, contention. I'm saying it about several, right? I like how you repeat almost like a chorus. Welcome in, Noble Blend. Good to see you as well. Um,
Mm.
what do you have any commentary on the poem? Anything you want to share? Rachel Hendricks, welcome in. We're doing a poetry reading. One last thing before I turn it over to Noble Blend. All are welcome to come up and share poetry. I can add you to the call. I added Bathrobe Guy. If you like the poems of either me or Bathrobe Guy, pick us up. Subscribe to us. My publication, at least, is available to everyone on Substack. But go ahead with any commentary that you have.
I am a huge proponent of peace, like peace
I
and
do
nonviolence.
sense a moral backbone to a lot of
Yeah,
your stuff.
I do not, I do not think that violence solves our problems. I think that violence has added to our problems. It just causes more and more suffering. So, yeah, I kind of try to speak out about it as much as I can.
Well, I love it. I think that if I'm not subscribed to you, Bathrobe Guy, I definitely want to let me go up in here. Substack Lives have some cool features, by the way. Oh,
Mm,
and you can very easily pick people up and subscribe to them. I'll follow
mm.
you at least. But anyway,
There's
let's
so many
see.
good writers on here too. Oh my
There
goodness.
are.
Like, wow.
If you don't mind, Bathrobe Guy, I'd like to read a poem called "Her Laughter," which is about a really pretty laugh of a woman I used to know. And this has an inscription for it. And all I'll say about her is that it's for AB. Oh, and Wendy says, I was reading Shel Silverstein this morning, and the contention poem reminded me very much of his work. I don't know how you feel about Shel Silverstein, Bathrobe Guy, but I would most decidedly take that as a compliment.
Wow. Awesome.
Shel Silverstein is known obviously for things like, The Giving Tree, which is a beautiful book, but a lot of kind of funny poems like Where the Sidewalk Ends, his collection. But I think he's a great writer.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
So this is called Her Laughter. This is the single poem that I'm most proud of. And just wanted to read that while we've got a little bit of an audience here. So,
Mhm.
when she laughs and I hear her walking in front of her or behind, no matter our distance, I am near her. every thought replaced in my mind, the water of it jumping, pouring amid her lips, flowing, soaring from her neck, her head thrown back, igniting all the air she breathes, in thrilling fingerprints she leaves on me with what her laughter says. And what her laughter says is that I'm nowhere else but with you now. Then, this having been announced, the space around her levitates. It becomes a little weightless, those who surround her elevating, endowing on the air the traces of lightning that the water chases, the flash of flame that dances and splashes on the water's faces, down the dips and rippling places, lapping light dappled and captured traces, in sparks that charge her air with luster, her voice is joy and life recovered. Her voice is notes of sunlit motes like fireflies that closely float nearby in late summer and never rest, the parts of them that softly glow. When she talks, it's like her laughter is gathered up in bales together, in melodies and gently tethered, bound in bands of softened leather, as brocaded locks of golden heather. Her words redound the gales of air, then from her laughter's music, all at once, lyrics are there. So her laughter has its overture, its denouement, and a quiet end, when her slowly fading singing maintains yet still some faint ringing, even as outside a silence tries to eclipse her choir inside from sight, its memory made friable by daylight. Her laughter is more gorgeous still than any words I could ever write. And that's it. That's her laughter. I'll never forget,
Wow.
I texted her that poem or a link to it on Substack, and I'll never forget what she told me when she got that poem. It was, so we used to work together.
What? Yeah.
I was like, yeah, but what do you think about it? And by the way, I want to clarify, this wasn't uh it wasn't a weird situation. And by the way, the poem is really about nothing else except how pretty her laugh was. So I like to
Right, right.
think that it wasn't so weird. And it was after she had left the company. I didn't want to make it weird by letting her know the poem was about her. But at the same time, I was kind of like, damn, people,
Right.
that people don't really write like poems about each other anymore. And I always admired, yeah, a laugh is something we don't pay attention to enough. Um, Her laugh was the most beautiful sound I've ever heard. Just a great positive person. I still definitely am a big fan of AB, despite the fact she was a little bit maybe she was uncomfortable about it. I don't know. But
Mm.
laughter is my thing, says Wendy. I live for it and try hard to evoke it. I find it beautiful that you noticed.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I mean, not to make it weird, but the most beautiful sounds I've ever heard is the sound of a woman's laugh, especially when I'm the one who's causing it. It's like that's my,
For
hopefully
sure.
in an intentional way. Bathrobe guy, do you have anything else to share?
I got one more I'll share with you here.
That's
This is
great.
called a rose in the garden. A rose petal is she, smiles, almond eyes, home and tea, painted skies, shooting stars, silent tears erase old scars. Jasmine mornings, her laugh on the breeze, echoes in bird songs, alive in the trees. Head on a shoulder, no need for a word. It's already spoken, already heard. Soft curved, delicate, free. In the garden together, a rose petal is she.
Beautiful. I'm getting, it's giving Wordsworth and Byron to me. And I mean that as a
Damn,
compliment.
damn.
Yeah,
Well, thank you.
I went through a big romantics phase, you know?
Yeah.
Aaron Andrews, welcome in. So we're joined today by the wonderful, talented bathrobe guy who, despite his name, is a serious poet. I had no idea. That was
That's some
beautiful.
good
And
songs
yeah,
out. Yeah.
I mean, I know this is the
Thank you.
most famous Byron poem, but she moves in beauty like the light, like the repeated she. I love it when people take kind of the more mundane words. And I'm not saying you're using mundane words. I'm saying we use she all the time. It's just a common word, right? But is she, is she? Does anyone, bathrobe guy, you're welcome to share another one. Actually, give us some commentary on that poem if you'd like. But otherwise, the floor is open for anyone He's also extremely smart, I can tell. Anyone who can write good poetry is smart, although it's not the most financeable, fungible skill. It is something
It's
that I
really
think
not.
it's a talent. A lot
It's
of people
really
say,
not.
go ahead. Sorry.
No, no, no. I mean, I'm just I mean, writing in itself can be challenging to and be lucrative, let alone just poetry.
I'm working at an Amazon warehouse, because
Ooh,
I can't earn a living for myself from writing alone. Not, I'm not saying anybody, no one owes me anything. I just, it's a struggle.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. What
And if the floor is open to anyone who would like to come up, bathrobe guy who's brave enough to join, you don't have to turn your camera on. You're welcome to join up, but I am kind of running out of gas. So if you have some stuff at hand that you're ready to share, come on up. But if not, this won't be the first poetry reading that I do. And maybe Bathrobe Guy, we can coordinate you coming on and we just sort of like both like I read one, you read one, or vice versa, that kind of thing.
sure. I'd love to. Yeah. 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 I have tons of poems. Like I've been writing since I was 12 years old. So I have a
You
I have a plethora of poems for
you
sure.
have myriad poems.
Myriad. Yes, I do. I'll read you one more if you want. How's
I'd
that?
love to. Yeah. Well, that this will be our closing poem unless anybody is itching to share something that they have ready to go. But go ahead.
Ooh. All right. So this is called Labyrinth of Pain. Labyrinth of Pain. Which door to choose? Not this one. Not that one. You're sure to lose. This one, that one, peering in the dark, hither, thither, a mindless spark. Endless tunnels, structures of the mind, paths through darkness. What will you find? Caverns of chaos cloaked in want, patterns of self that only haunt. Closets of bones old and forgot, leftover soul food left out to rot. Woven threads of light and leaf, mingled, hovering, chasing the grief. Silhouettes of love and loss, shadow emotions cast on the moss. Constructions of duality lost in the mist, fueling your convictions, becoming the grist. Picture perfect signs hanging on the wall, directions of purpose designed for us all. Murals of peace etched in stone, reminding, pleading, left alone. Corners of light still in the dark, paths to follow that hit the mark, temples of truth that still do stand, ancient and creaking, covered in sand. Homes of heart under shade of tree, not hidden, open, waiting to be. Runes of compassion, truth, and peace, open, given, free of lease. Labyrinth of pain, which door to choose? Choose this one or that one. You've paid your dues. Go hither, go thither. Know you're the spark. Wherever you go, let love be your mark.
I love that. Although the ending doesn't fit into my paradigm that I was thinking, to me, I'm getting Yeats, especially on the hither and thither. The hither, thither, whither, hither, thither. He was always dropping, old English kind of things like that. But
Yeah,
the floor is open for commentary on the poem. What are your thoughts on it? What were your intentions? Things like that.
just to kind of take you through that whole how our, our mind can go from dark places to light places. Like, yeah, pretty
The
much.
mind, the mind is its own place. The mind is its own place and can make a hell of heaven or a heaven and hell's place. John Milton,
Right.
Paradise
It's like,
Lost.
yeah, like that, like in Hamlet, there's neither good nor bad. The believing makes it so. I mean, he wasn't saying that there's no good and bad. He was just saying the situation looked bad to him. Well, I mean, where to others it might look really good. So yeah, our mind is, can take us to places that are dark, and to take really good light places too. So yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you for joining, Bathrobe Guy. Would you be comfortable?
Thanks
Either
for
way,
having me.
SSM, would you be open to me sending this out as a post?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't mind at all.
Okay, well, then one of the cool things about Substack Lives is that they'll kind of you can send them out as their own post as a video. And if anyone wants to review wants if you missed some of it, I read some poems toward the beginning that you can do, but definitely
Well,
pick up Bathrobe Guy because his poems are great. And we'll be having more of these readings, I hope, because I got a big back catalog and I'm trying to do more of my poetry. But any closing words, Bathrobe Guy?
stay entangled, my friends.
I love that. All right. Peace out. And as the Portuguese say, beijos means kisses. All right. Christina, welcome in. If you want to catch the replay, it'll be going out later today. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Bye bye.